that there is a concept of leadership in taxation. It's a big area, and as a young CA, people still feel that tax is more to do with those dusty government rooms where the files are falling, papers are not in order, and it's just preparation of competition, some reconciliation, some mismatches and whatnot. But this tax as a function, I would say, it's like a catalyst in a car. You need it to clear your fuel, do a engine efficiency. It may not be a car, but it's a very important part or component which goes into a car, right? So let's look at transformation of tax. We already hearing about AI, MI, technology, digital tax, everything, right? And there's too much confusion. Everybody is trying to sell everything. So what does digitalization starts with? It starts with change management. And the best statement I want to start over here is from the former US President, Franklin D, where he started saying that fear is the only fear we should know. To my mind, in a tax function, the majority of the fear which we all foresee, or other the people who are there for last more than 15 years in this profession, is if everything goes for automation, what will be my role? Where will I go? I will not have a job after the age of 45. I'll be redundant, right? If you go with that mindset, nothing will happen. People also take pride in saying that I'm handling 100 cases. It's not worth. You're not adding value to the organization. I take pride in saying that I'm only handling 10 cases. But those 10 cases are much more valuable for me. And I don't care whether my job will be there after 2 years or not. If you go with that mindset, any change management would happen. We ourselves are insecure of the situations, and we ourselves are victims of what has been created. I mean, you look at those Dutch double dip structures which Europe had created, and it's now the dream of OECD to come up with a pillar 2 because they are short of revenues. We don't want it. So we are victims of the change. I mean, we are basically the victims, and we only resist the change. Why are we supposed to even blame others? Secondly, what technology brings in is the transparency. Most of us don't like to be transparent. My area, this is like Agnipath, ye mera area hai, tumhara area hai. Don't enter my area, I'll not enter your area. This is not the way it happens in today's world. Transparency is the key, and any technological upgradation would lead to sharing of information with everybody. Everybody should have everything available. And you should also have the information available, whatever is there with the CS department, your accounts payable, AR, or even the legal team for that matter. Everybody should know everything. That's the key to start any kind of a change management. Third question which comes to everybody's mind is what is the ROI? I'm investing 10 crores, 5 crores, 15 crores in technology, maybe smaller projects, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. What is the ROI on that? Can anybody define ROI in a technology or a digital tax? Anybody wants to try? What is the ROI? I have spent 5 crores on upgrading the entire information technology system for tax in my organization. What should be the ROI? So it comes with the relevance. What is the relevant? Is it relevant for me? What is the value addition it's going to bring on table? It's not going to, may not be saving the man hours, but the way the information is going to be churned and re-engineered and sent to me, that is something which is the ROI. Here you can't go with a project and with the management to say that, you know, I'm spending this amount. I'll basically ensure that I will save cost of 5x. Not possible. Nobody can even predict. And you can't even let go of people just because you're investing in technology. So ROI has to be defined from a relevance perspective, the way the information will be required for the management analysis purpose, and the information should be more predictive in nature. Change management for any information technology project has to be from all stakeholders' perspective. So everybody has to be on board. You can't drive a project only for yourself. You have to take into account considerations of everybody's feelings. It's more an emotional change rather than a regular change. Because people will not accept a change because they will feel that they'll be redundant from day one once the technology is implemented. We saw when SAP, Oracle, PeopleSoft was implemented 15, 20 years ago. And this requires a lot of time as well, right, on any projects. Moving to the next generation. So we came with all the chartered accountant mindset, doing tax, 3 idiots, बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, first day in the engineering team. The new generation, what are they going to do? Reconciliation? Anybody fresh CA over here? Doing indirect tax, reconciliations, 2A, 2B, 3B, mismatches? Anyone? Any fresh CAs? I need a perspective. How will you give a career growth to that person? I mean, everything is automated, everything is straitjacketed, everything is available now. The flow of circulars are much more from department side. There is lot of information which is fetched by everyone. But at the end of the day, as a CA, what is the value addition we are doing? So we again go back to the age-old technique when the technology was implemented, where there was a techno-functional kind of expertise which was required, correct? There were engineers who were looking at technology. There were finance guys who were looking at a functional area. And then both the aspects were blended so that a good product could be developed. Here also it's going to be the same thing. You have people who are aspiring, who wants to do career. The Gen Zs may be looking at a short-term kind of a career. They might switch looking at how the situation goes. But you need somebody who is tech savvy, and we are fortunate enough to have these guys who are born in a so-called digital world. So they are more tech savvy and we are knowledgeable. So if that knowledge can also be imparted to them, obviously they'll have a good career role, right, going ahead. Do you agree? Anybody disagrees on this? I don't feel there is a career in tax. Next 5 years, we're all out. We're all redundant. New tax code, everything is going to be very transparent, very straight-jacketed English. No red and margin required. No full stop, no comma. How does the soft skill then play to these kind of areas? You need to be upgraded. You can't be focusing only on tax as such. You need to be regulatory upgraded. You need to know the SEBI laws. You need to know FEMA. You need to little bit know of everything. The days of specialization are all gone now. It's the generation in where you need to wear all the hats. You need to know everything. Otherwise, you will feel that the job is not adding value to your own career. Are you guys agree with me, or there is a disagreement on this fact? I mean, gone are the days when I was to look at, I'm focusing on your direct tax, I don't know indirect tax. I'm focusing on indirect tax, I don't know FEMA. I don't know SEBI, I don't know Companies Act. Those days are gone. We don't require expert knowledge, we require knowledge which will be relevant in my delivery of work. And I need to know from all the aspects. And this is what the new generation has to learn if they want to be relevant in the current environment where things are getting simplified. And they want to do a career in maybe tax, I would not say tax, but tax with adjacencies, take treasury, take some kind of MIS. Like I am handling now tax with insurance as well. That's something which I have not done in the past. I'm also looking at corporate affairs, so which I have not done in the past. I focus on SEBI as well. So these are some of the adjacencies which you need to learn so that you are relevant at that point of time and you will be relevant in future as well. So what some of the trends we are looking at? Now we all talked about, I mean the slide is not relevant much. What I'm saying is that in AI or in MI, whatever implementation you do, it should be more meaningful and value addition. There should be a predictive analysis which should come out from any kind of implementation of software. If you're implementing a GST software, the GST software should be able to help you to predict what is going to be your month-end sales and how you're going to adjust your credits for different states. You should not be in a position to say that one state I have a payable situation, other state I have a hefty credit available. So how do you plan? How do you plan in advance? How do you do the sales forecast? How you do a purchase forecast? Those are intelligent predictive analysis which could come out from the implementation of the digital or technology. We know it's going to be now a faceless everywhere, right? Most of us don't visit an officers. We don't even know who's taking our assessments. So in such a scenario, what is required is the data accuracy. And these guys who are doing the faceless thing are not giving much time. They require all the data at one go. They may not even call you for hearing. They will take it and then they just pass an assessment order. In that scenario, your data has to be completely, it has to be a complete in totality purpose, there should not be any misses, because tomorrow if the data is not been discussed with the officer, he might pass an order, but you may end up going in litigation wherein you have submitted all the facts before the officer. So when you do a remote or faceless assessment in a digital world, you need to have proper data analysis which has to be done. So what this all technology would lead to? It will lead to a situation where you are going to give a, I would say, a proactive information to management, a proactive information to the board of your landing scenario of taxes which are going to be payable, either on a monthly basis if it's a GST, or an annual basis which is a corporate tax. You can effectively also plan your ATR well in advance, because if you're a listed company, obviously you have to do a calculation for the year and then do a annualized ATR and then have a effect on the quarterly ATR. So those all predictive analysis have to be done as a part of your technology and MI, whatever you want to implement. Last but not the least, in any kind of implementation, what is required is ultimately what is leading to decision making. Is the data or the reports which are thrown by the MIS or by the systems enough for me to take a decision? If I'm still struggling with the decision making, then obviously the implementation has gone for a toss, or the data which I've put in the system is not proper. So again, it's the same story of garbage in, garbage out, right? So you need to have a proper data which is going in. You need to have a system in place in such a manner that it enables a person to take a decision. Again, this is more from a new generation perspective, where you need to have a collaborative approach. You need to learn, need to reskill day in, day out. There are, again, as I said, you need to wear all the hats. You need to be top of the mind from, say, income tax, the new draft bill, any changes in the OECD, UN model commentary. You may not be expert, but you need to have a feel of everything before any kind of analysis is done by you. So this is something which will help you also to be more meaningful in the job, be more relevant, and at the same time, if you want to do some kind of switches within existing organizations or outside, this will help you to have a skill set which will basically test your attitude, and that attitude can be tested somewhere else as well. 20 minutes? So tax as a function, more so it's a mundane routine function, right? But how do you make it more strategic? And the way you do it as strategic is that you interact with other functions. And in other functions would also include some of the low-hanging functions like a corporate communication. How should a communication flow to a press or to outside world in case of your senior management, in case of your positions taken? Now LODR, SEBI regulation also require us to report for all the transactions, right, which are orders passed or which are material, non-material in nature. So how you do a stakeholder management? So that is something which is more strategic in nature. How do you manage your audit committee, the board, what positions you take in tax, how you do the planning, and that planning has to be supported by a council opinion or I would say even a CA firm opinion, so that whatever you have done, there is always a backup, there is always a CYA which you have done from a board perspective. I think it's more a strategic function rather than a mundane function of filing returns and doing the GSTR 2A, 3B filing and mismatches. This is something which would give you a perspective of how the tax as a whole would evolve. With that, I would end my presentation. Any questions you have? No questions?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Rahul?